let's get started. Let me share the screen. So welcome to the session on AI agents. Okay, so the AI agents has been something that has been doing a lot of rounds in the whole internet, and so much is being talked about. And this technology is doing a lot of disruption in terms of it's like the whole industry is shaken. Uh, there are job impacts, there are so many automations, there's so much happening after the AI agents have come into the picture. Okay, so I'll be today taking you through building your own agents. We will code our first agents, and you all will also be able to do it with me. If time permits, we'll all be able to build some simple agents and see how they really work. So, to talk about myself, my name is Rushikesh Merwade, and I've been, I have around 13 years of experience in the IT industry. On top of it, I have worked in multiple leadership roles in different companies. Like I've worked in Morningstar. Recently, I worked as a vice president of data science in Motilal Oswal in Mumbai. Now I'm working full time in one of my own startups where we are using AI and machine learning and AI agents and all of it to enhance the overall learning experiences. Okay, that has been what I'm doing. So without further ado, let's get started in terms of understanding what are these AI agents. Okay, so if we talk about a quick example, what this AI agents can do, some of the things this AI agent can do is the way the humans have been doing it till now. There are a lot of things we as the humans are involved in doing a day-to-day decision making. This day-to-day decision making, we want AI to take control of. Till the AI agents or LLMs being present, we had to do many of these things manually. But AI or LLMs or even the large language model, ChatGPT, if you guys have been accessing, has got a very good intelligence. It has got a very good intelligence. It can understand things. It can do decision making. It can plan things very well. But using AI agents, we try to give more superpower to this LLM. The goal is how do we give some superpowers to this LLM so that they can not just generate things, but also actually do some interaction with the external world. Okay, if we just talk about this example, let's assume there is an agent called as agent Alex. Okay, and he is trying to look for all the new leads which are coming on the website. So the goal of AI agent is AI agent Alex keep looking at the new leads who come on the website. He tries to check, okay, which pages they are visiting, what kind of activity they are doing, which products or which pages, and then what kind of activities, all multiple things, he'll try to check. And then it will come up with its own reason. It will think through it. And the thinking will be like based on the behavioral things that it has observed from different users. It will think, okay, this user looks to be high in tech based on the activity this user is doing. I think he's a good user. He will be able to buy the product. Should I send him more details? So this AI agent then will be sending very personalized detail to this user. It can send, okay, personalized emails, sending some case studies, doing some multiple notifications to the user, and summarize whole things and send it to the sales team. Before to the AI agents, all these things had to be done by manual sales agents. Manual sales agents had to go through the lead which comes in the website and they try to look into each of these users and then do a decision making whether the user will actually buy or not. Before to the AI agents, we used to build machine learning models, AI ML models, which were supposed to do this kind of things. So rather than theory, I think how many of you heard about Claude Code? Can you just give a thumbs up over the chat? Like, have you guys heard of Claude Code? If you can just put thumbs up over the chat, that would be great. Okay. Okay, I only see few. Great, great. So Cloud Code is one of our AI agent system that can do code-based automation. Okay, so let's try to run through Cloud Code in live and build one simple web-based product. Okay, now in this case, let's try to use Cloud Code to build a simple calculator application using Next.js and React. Okay, So what we will do is we'll start a Claude. Okay, so this is a Claude interface. So Claude is a CLI-based AI agent. Okay, to this, when we try to give a prompt, I'll give a prompt saying, I would like to build a web-based calculator app which can do addition, multiplication, subtraction, division using the Next.js and React as a backend and front-end user interface. Okay, so let's see if we get, okay, I've done audio automation, but that's not working. So let's do it run manually. I would like to build a calculator app using Next.js, okay, and React. So let's see how it goes and what all things happen. We will observe, and then we will try to understand it more in terms of what are these AI agents. Okay, so first thing, what it is trying to do is it is trying to plan. Okay, what you see is once I give it a task, it has got down into doing the task of, okay, I'll help you build the calculator using this. Let me create a to-do list. So first thing, it tries to break down the given problem into a list of things that it is going to do. Second, let me start by checking if this is already a Next.js project and let's set up a project structure. So if it is not already there, it will try to do this by itself. So it first checks the ls. ls is the local directory folder. So if you see, it has got some access to the LLM. But LLM has got access to the external tools, like in this case right now, Windows management tool. So it goes with ls, checks whether there is any content in the folder. Right now, this folder is empty. There is no content in there. It says it is blank. It will start with creating a project. Now, doing any activity, it will ask for the humans. Any risky activity will ask for the humans. This is called as a human in the loop. Okay. Any risky things, the model before it can perform, it will try to ask for us. So we can override it asking again and again for the same command, or we can just simply keep giving it inputs one by one. Okay. If I give a second option, it will do the same activity again by itself. Okay, let's see how it goes. Creating a calculator component with basic UI. Okay, so it may require some time, but if you see, it is able to, when it is running, one of the interesting thing that we see is it found out that I was not able to give some of the thing. Okay, so one of the package is not installed. It says now I need to install this package. So it came back, it checked that, okay, there is an error, and from that error, it now says that I will first install this and then do it. If you see, it is trying to think more like a human, and as per the human, it is trying to think and take certain decisions. Okay, so it has gone to the next step and now trying to install some more libraries. We will observe it for few minutes and then we will try to break it down. What is really happening internally? Okay, so this is the next step. So it is trying to do some installation. It says yes as a command to this installation. Okay, I'll maximize the command window. Okay, guys, I hope this should be better now in terms of the audio. Is it better now? Awesome, great. I think this should be better. So we will go with this one. Okay, great, great. Thanks a lot, guys, for the feedback. Awesome. Okay, so if you see now, it has gone into like creating the project, and after creating that project, it has started to build the pages. Okay, one by one, it has started to work on the pages now. So if you see, we are only giving it a feedback, but now it will start doing all this activity of creating all the pages that is required, running the project, validating if everything is good. Are there any syntactical errors? Are there any issues? So it is able to do all that parts. Now let's understand what does the AI agent basically mean. So till that point, it is running in the backend. So if you see, it has come up with the code. I will approve it and I will say that, okay, you can do the same activity again and again. Till that point, till it is able to create the code, let us go to the PPT back again and we will try to understand these pieces.
So in terms of the components of this AI agent, okay, if you talk about the components of the AI agent, first is this AI agent is nothing but an orchestrator. It's working as an orchestrator to manage multiple pieces. Okay? First are this very important things called as a tools. Okay, tools are nothing but the external activity which we are giving. Can you guys tell me what is the external activity in our case that the agent is trying to do? Can you guys just list us what is the external activity that this cloud code is trying to do? What kind of interaction it is able to make? Any idea? Installing dependencies, that's great, Vishwa. Yes, anything else? Calculator. So calculator will be the end goal in this case, right? Calculator is the end goal. But to build that calculator, what all things it is able to do? What kind of external tools it is accessing? So one thing to understand is for all this AI, one of the core component is the Anthropic, OpenAI, Mixed Llama, all these LLM models have the capability to work like a brain. So in all of this, the LLM model works as a brain. But LLM in itself cannot do any kind of action. Okay, LLM in itself can't do any kind of action, but LLM can instruct. Okay, let's create a folder, let's create a file, let's run the code. All these are different type of commands the LLM can do. AI agent will be able to take those steps. Okay, AI agent will be able to take those steps on behalf of LLM. So AI agent is the orchestrator between these tools and LLM. Tools can be anything. You can give it access to your database, you can give it access to your folder structure, or you can give it access to multiple APIs. And this AI agent will be able to use this all tools using LLM and try to accomplish the goals that we want to achieve. Okay, so these are like different type of tools that we can give it access to. Calendar, calculator could be one of the tools that we can give it access to. Code interpreter, where the model can run the code and get the output. Doing the internet search, if you guys have heard about deep research as a one of a tool with this different AI models, which is there. It uses a browser as a tool where it is able to do multiple searches, get the data, and try to summarize. Same thing happens with Perplexity. Perplexity is like an AI agent that uses internet as a tool to access the real-time data and try to provide you with the answers. On top of it, LLM is very good in terms of planning. LLM is very good in terms of breaking down the problem statement into multiple steps. That's called as a subtool decomposition. Reflection. We found out that it was able to reflect on itself that I don't have this installed library installed. I will now try to install this library. That's a step this LLM is able to do. Self-critic. It can work on itself as a self-critic and then try to do some activities. Okay. So for example, like yes, AI will take action based on the events, right? So different events are there. And one more very important part is the memory. There is short-term memory, long-term memory. If you guys have used ChatGPT, one of the features in so when you have a window open in the ChatGPT, that's a one single short-term memory session. The moment you go to a create new chat, you leave that memory and you come into a new completely blank memory. But when you stay in that same chat zone, everything it is able to remember. That's called as a short-term memory. Long-term memory is something that goes horizontal. It tries to learn about the user, and this learning will be applicable across the application. In ChatGPT, there is a concept of memory. If you say that, okay, my name is this, it will be able to track that as a memory, and anywhere you ask it, it will be able to tell you. So long-term memory goes in multiple conversation, short-term memory stays in the same conversation. Okay, so let's go back again and try to see. It says that the app is running on the Pro. Let me try to open this and we will see if we are able to get a chat. Let's see if we are able to get our calculator working. Okay, fingers crossed. Let's see what kind of calculator it has, right? It may require just few seconds to run through the page. Okay, great. We have got a calculator react based app. Let me just quickly try 10 plus 300 equal to 310. Right? So this cloud code is able to build a full-fledged calculator for us. Okay. So let's now what we will do is we'll try to build our own AI agent. Okay, that's my goal. That we all can build our own simple AI agent. To do that, one thing you all can do is you can go to Google Studio. So Google Studio provides you access to the Gemini key. Okay, Gemini is one of our AI model, LLM model. So we need key access, and Gemini is generous enough in terms of providing some tokens with a good limit, where we will be able to still run it to a good amount. Okay, so all of you can open the Google AI Studio. You will require your Gmail access or just a Google access. Once you are able to go inside this, next will be I'll just post it over the chat. Let me put it over the chat. So whoever is able to access, you guys can access it. Okay. So this inside this, there is a get API key option. Okay. Inside this, there is a get API key option. Within this, we will be able to either create an API or there will be some level of APIs already available. Okay, sometimes like I have already created APIs in my case, but if you don't have, you can go to create API key. Okay, and that will give you an option to create your own API. Okay, so this will allow you, but in my case already there, so I'll be just going with this link, and this is how my API key will look like. So this is the first step where we have to get started with the API. The next step would be we will be using Collab to run through the code. Okay, Collab is a Python-based Jupyter notebook environment where we will run the code. Okay, our goal would be to run the code. So Collab gives you a free running environment. If you guys have your local VS Code and you can run through that, you can also do that. Okay, both of the options are available. If you have your local VS Code, you can use your VS Code to build it. Or if you have your collab open, you can access to the collab. Okay, these are the two options. I think as you guys are joining from the office, it's possible that not all of you may have access to it. If not, please listen to me, just understand the steps or note down the steps, and you will be able to replicate it in your home. You will be able to go back and just try to use the same steps that we perform, and will be able to do the same step. I'll also be sharing the code file that we have so that you can also run through the same code. Okay, so what we will do is AI agents. Okay, so I'll also going to share this notebook now so that you will have access to the live code that I'll be doing. Okay, you will get a live access to the code as I will keep typing. So you can also try to run through it. Okay, so as the first step, let's try to. So in our case, see, there are n number of AI agents frameworks which are available in the market. There are different frameworks like LangGraph, AI agents studio from OpenAI, there is a CrewAI, there is a Google ADK, there is a PhiData, Agnos. There are n number of tools which are there in the market. We will be using one of the tool called as AI Agents SDK, which is from OpenAI. Okay, so to do that, we also need to do some installation of libraries. So this is the first library, OpenAI Agents SDK. So I will be showing the site, OpenAI Agents SDK. This is their website. Okay, so this comes up with the AI agents description as how do we build the agent. And we will now try to go through the steps. So first thing, I'll be installing the library. Okay, you will have this live code, maybe like few seconds it will take, but you will be able to get access to whatever I'm typing here. Okay, so this is one part. So this will install the libraries which are required. Okay, as I said, if you're not able to run due to the restrictions, one thing that we should do is keep note of all of these things. Okay, and then you will be able to run it once you're back with an environment where you will not have any restrictions, like your local system. But otherwise, if you have restrictions, please listen to me. So this is the library is now installed. So as the next step, what we will do is we will try to import the libraries which are related to the AI agents SDK. So now we will be using the Gemini model. Okay, so first we will be using the Gemini model. So let's try to access the Gemini model. So to access an agent, what we need to do is with respect to the agent, we need to, okay, so this is how we will be adding the agent, but I will just replacing this with the key because if you guys use my key, it has the restrictions and we won't be able to, I won't be able to run through the code. So I've just replaced it, but this is the place where the key that you pull out, you will be able to put it. Okay, so this is where the agents API, it specify the model, it give the name to an agent. We can have different type of agents. Okay, we will be creating a financial analyst agent today. Our goal will be to create a financial analyst agent. In this case, right now, this is a simple agent. This is a model. A Gemini comes up with a multiple models. Gemini has 2.5 Flash, 2.5 Pro. There's a recent model that you all may have heard of, which is doing the rounds, which is, you guys know what is a new model that is doing a lot of hype right now? Yeah, I think yes, you can do the open source models also. Um, but yeah, I think that will require again a different steps. But if you guys already know how to add the open source models, we can also look for like how to use light LLM to access other open source models. The open source model you can either do it through Olama or secondly you can do it through Hugging Face. These are the two different options through which you can access the open source model. You can look at Hugging Face. So from the Hugging Face and accessing the light LLM model, we'll be able to do that. But for now, with the time constraint that we have, I will not go in that part. Okay. Yeah, if time permits at the end, I will try to say that how to do that. Okay. So yes, that's right. Nano banana is something that is doing a lot of rounds in the market right now from the Gemini. But yeah, we will be doing with Flash 2.5. In the one more model, Flash 2.5 Pro. So now to run this model, what we need to do is we need to perform a wait till there is a runner object. Till the runner, we have to pass this agent object and ask it a question. Right? A program, Python program for even or number check. Okay, let's just see if I will try to different a response. Let's see if it runs. Okay, just taking some time. Yes, so we have got the result now. So if I print the response, with respect to response, there's a lot of code that has come. So the final output is a variable which will contain only the code part. Okay, so this I will try to print. If I print it, we will get a more structured Python program. So if you see this initial part, if we leave, we will be able to take only this markdown part. So this is the markdown part. So this is the Python function and which we are able to get out. Okay. So this is one simple thing where we can use it like a chat GPT and generate some output. But there is no external activity right now. Right now, this model cannot access anything external. To do that, let's ask one more question. Let's see if I try to ask the model, what is the current date? Do you think it will be able to answer this? What do you think? Yeah, any idea? Like, will it be able to give me the current date if you ask it? Okay, I want one yes and one no. There's a 50-50 probability which we have right now. Anybody else would like to change it? Okay. Ranjit says it is only has the past data. Okay. No. Okay. I think great. So more many people are saying it doesn't have access to the real data, but it hallucinates. If you see, it is coming up with the date, today's date is June 14, 2024. If I run it multiple times, it may keep coming up with multiple different answers because of what it is trained on, it will come up with a various different answers. Okay, so every time it is coming up with a different answer. Now, if we want to give it access to the current date, okay, if you want to give it access to the current date, that's where the tools are going to be helpful. So we will be building our own tool and giving access to the tool to the model to make it go out of the LLM's knowledge base and access some real world data. To do that, we will be using Python's datetime object. Okay, and from this, you also need to add to create tools and agents. We have this one function called as function tool. This is a decorator. So you will be adding the decorator. Define get current date. Okay, we will be return datetime dot now dot date. So that is in this, we will be using strf time. And in the strf time, we just have to pass this. We only need date, so we will be using this part. So from datetime import datetime. So this is a function now. With this function, if we run it, we'll be able to give us the current date. Okay, so this function object, if I comment it for now and then run it, I'll be able to get the current date. Okay, I'm able to get it. Now let's try to fit it inside a LLM model. Okay, so what I need to do now to make it access, okay, so this thing, okay, so we are giving it now the tools. Okay, there is a thing called as a tool. This agent will now have access to the tools. So we are giving the get current date as a tool to this model. So if we now try to ask the model that okay, now give me the date. Okay, I'll go with the give me the current date. Now it is able to give me the exact date today. If you see, it is now giving me the exact date for today. So this is how we are trying to give model and access to the real world. Okay, so within this, we can give it anything. We can make it work anything. What really happens internally is this LLM model, when we say it as a tools, this prompt, when we are passing the prompt, with the prompt, the definition of the tool also goes. Only definition. The model do not understand what is inside the function. It only understands, okay, this is the input structure, this is the name of the function, this is the output structure. So output is going to be a string. It only knows that much part. It doesn't know anything internal that is there in the tool. So the tool definition is passed as part of this. LLM will tell that okay, execute this tool. And then the agent will be able to execute this tool locally. Okay, so that's the goal. Let's try to add one more tool. Now we will try to create our own, let's say, a calculator of our own. So to do the calculator, I can say define add number, I'll say number one and number two. Okay, so what we're saying is this is the addition function, number one and number two. And also add a print statement just to see that we are trying to get the data from only the function and not its own memory. Okay, so this is a print. So this will help us understand that the sprint will be executed when the tool executes. So now within this, I'll also again add one more function. So we can add multiple tools to the agents. Okay. Similarly, the Cloud Code that you see, right? Cloud Code will have access to the different tools. It will have a big prompt. On top of the prompt, it will also have access to the multiple tools. It will have access to tools like tools like APIs, it can also have access to the local directory, create file, create folder, delete folder, get the content of the file, ls. All of this tools, all of this will be available as a tool to this agent model. So, okay, Cloud Code will have access to all of this. Now let's try to see how it works when we have two different. Okay, so we have two different tools. I just need to do is I'll be adding the key and then it's sorry, but I need to quickly remove the key because we have many people because the keyboards we won't be able to do the name. Okay, so if I ask, give me addition of, I'm giving some larger number. Okay, I say run it. So what you see is this number is coming from this print state. If you're able to understand what is happening, this LLM model is understanding the question that it is for the addition. It is calling this add to, but not just calling, it is also able to identify that okay, these are the parameters. It is able to separate those parameters and send it to the input, get the output, and provide a final statement saying the addition of this and this is this. Let's quickly validate. Okay, the answer is right. So this function, when we call it, it will only return saying that, okay, this is the result. But LLM tries to give it a more textual form. This function will not give any textual format. If you understand, this function will not give any textual format. This function will only return the number, but then LLM tries to make it more humanized. LLM is able to say that, okay, yes, the addition of this and this is this. So this is how, like, even if we are giving two different tools, okay, if we are giving two different tools, the model is still able to run through one of the two. So similarly, again in a Cloud Code, it has access to multiple tools. But based on the current situation, it will access only the specific tool. The AI agents are getting popular because you don't have to define a logical structure right now. See, I don't have any logic. I have never mentioned that, okay, if this keyword is coming, you go to the addition, and if this keyword is coming, you go to the get current date. There is nothing like that. LLM and the agent is able to make a right decision in terms of how the what is the question, what tools do I have, and based on the tool, it is able to pick up the right tool, also provide the right set of arguments, and then get the content out of it, and then provide a final response. Right? So that's how these tools are more, these agents are able to do autonomous decisions. Just not just two tools, I can give it 10, 15 tools. And it will be able to do a right decision in terms of picking multiple. Now let's ask the one more interesting question. Uh, Give me the addition and also the current date. Okay, so let's see what happens. Okay, so what you see right now is it is able to do the addition tool and the get date tool, both of it together. So there is no logic, there is no condition. The LLM model is able to pick up these different tools and pick up, execute them, and then try to create a humanized response out of it. So even if there are multiple tools and you just don't have to execute only one tool but multiple tools, LLM will take care of running through those multiple tools and get you the output. So the automation part is you don't have to define a hardcode logic. I don't have any hardcore logic. And just out of the logic, it is its own knowledge, its own understanding of the context. It is able to come up with the response. Okay, so that's the key power of this. Now let's build one stock research agent. Okay, the goal will be like we will build a stock research agent. You all want to do that? You want to see a stock research agent? Yeah, you all want to have that? Yeah, let me see more if you guys are interested to understand with the stock market agent. Awesome. Great, great, great. Good to see the energy. So let's do that now. So I will try to add the code in a quick way so that we can discuss more in terms of the structure rather than the code. Okay, so we will be using the Yahoo Finance. So Yahoo Finance is one of the utility which we mostly use to get stock related data. So now we again have to, what we have to do is access any external data. To access any external data, what we need to do is we need to create the tools. Okay, so in case also we will be creating the tools to access the data from the Yahoo Finance. So first tool we will define would be, let's say, get stock financials. So this tool will get to the ticker, like any company that we provide, it will access the company. We are giving the company as an input. It will pick up the stock details and identify some of the financial parameters. Okay, it is going to pick up some of the financial parameters and provide it as a response. Okay, so this will be one tool. Let's also add another tool. People who are familiarized with the financial data analysis, they will understand more about the technical versus the fundamental analysis. So this is more of like long term versus short term. Technically, you need to understand the short term behavior of a stock. Fundamental is usually a fundamental or financially used to cause the long term performance of a stock. So we are trying to get both of the data as a two different tools. So I'll create a tool. Okay, and as the next step, as you all know, we will be adding agent. Agent which will be able to use this tool to come up with the response. Okay, I will with this. And we take this. Okay, so we have. So now what we say is the instructions are you are an expert stock analyst agent. You have got access to the tools, which are these different tools which we have mentioned. And then we also give it a name saying that, okay, this is what you are. We try to give it a specific name. How to run it? What I do is, let me result, let me give it away. Kernel.run, we need to provide the stock analyst agent object. Okay, stock analyst object. And the second would be the prompt. Okay, we will also give it a prompt. So I will say, give me detailed stock analysis for Infosys. Okay, now one of the, okay, let's run this first. Okay, so something has happened. We have got some details. So let me try to print the final output and we will see what has come as a response. I even try to take it as part of a response object so that we can understand in a better way. Response dot final output. So once this finishes, okay, so here is the detailed analysis. So it is able to come up. Let me show you, like, let me print it in a proper way. This is a markdown format. So with markdown format, if you print it, we will get it there much more better. So what you see is the Infosys stocks detail. As you see the output pattern, this is only giving the output based on the tools which we have provided. So whatever is coming as the output from the tool, it is able to use that and come up with its own summary. So from the financial analysis tool, we have captured this market cap, PE ratio, total revenue, total income. So this is what it has captured here. And if you understand that these are only values, at this point, these are only values. There is no textual meaning that is assigned to this. So we are only returning the values. And second, from here we are also returning some technical details. These are called as moving average, RSI. These are some well-known technical indicators that we follow to understand the trend of a stock. Okay, so we're not going to the technical part of it. So these are some trends. These are some information that you're trying to extract. And then this information, the model is able to use that and try to understand in a much more better way. So Infosys is a robust market capitalization, approximately this. It's indicated it's a large cap company, generally suggesting stability. So all of this statement, the LLM is coming with itself. So as we have given it a role that you are a stock analyst agent, This is like an extra role that we are providing to the model. And based on this role, it is able to make this judgment that I am a financial analyst agent. I have to use this data and give you some kind of a analysis. It also like analyzes all these numbers and gives a summary. The summary says Infosys presents as a large and revenue generating company with a moderate P ratio. The technical suggests that some recent short-term weakness at the file is below because recently the market is down. So based on the market is down, it is able to say that RSI indicates a neutral momentum. So now it is not only limited to you interpreting the numbers. If you are not just trying to just giving the number and then you're asking the model to make some judgment. So what can happen is you can run this agent to let's say some 500 top companies. Okay, you can run the same agent to 500 top companies in a loop way. And after that, the output that is coming, like you can pick up every summary. You can just try to parse every single summary from all of this agent's output and then analyze that summary further to make a decision which company will be better. Or even you pass it to one more agent, and that agent will give you a detailed understanding that okay, out of this 100, if this company looks much better to invest into, it will be able to give you that one, right? But the humans put a lot of effort. We go through charts, we go to financial websites and everything to analyze all this data. But here, good amount of analysis, it is able to give us just based on some parameters. So this is how AI agents are doing a lot of different automations. Right? The main power, the main goal is how do we do a better prompt engineering? Okay, how do we provide a right set of prompts? Because I'll tell you, I'll show you one thing. If you see this prompt, your helpful assistant only will the tools to answer the question. If not within the tool, reject the question. If I don't do this, it will go beyond the tools. Okay, if someone asks it to answer something beyond the tools, the model will still be able to do that. So we try to add this as a guardrail. We call it as a guardrails, and the guardrails we try to define so that model won't be able to go beyond what it is supposed to do. Every agent is supposed to have a limited role. Okay, we don't want it to be ChatGPT. ChatGPT is like a very general purpose. It can't answer to a specific things very well. You have to prompt it to a good extent. But here, the majority of the prompting is already taken care. The user may just give us some topics and the agent will do the whole activity. These are like very specific agents with specific tools. They can do the things which we humans do. So in this case, if you see, it has picked up both the tools. If I ask you to give me only technical detail about Infosys, for example, give me technical details about Infosys, it will only bring in the technical detail. It will not bring in the financial details. So we can have it like a limited output. Okay. So now you see that it only brings up the technical index. Only the technical details, it does not bring in the financial details. So we can have a control over what kind of output do we really want. We can even ask it now for a different company. So still, it will try to bring out that result. Okay, so this is how the agents actually work. So let me now go back to the PPT and let's just discuss few more things which are important. AI agents, there are many different companies which are coming up with specialized products on top of these agents. Okay, ChatGPT is very general purpose. You can't do very specific things within that, like access your internal database or provide access to the Gmail. As we said in the start, the Alex agent can look at who's visiting the website. He can analyze the data. He can send mails to them. All of this thing we can't ask the ChatGPT to do. We have to build our custom agent, custom software in a company to get this kind of thing done. So there's a lot of roles which are coming up for the AI agents people who can build this kind of automation. So there's a lot of hype, not hype. So in terms of hype, what is happening is the schools still have a limitation. AI agents we can't use everywhere. There are limitations in terms of where it is useful, and there are situations where it is not useful. So we have to understand where we can add this complexity and where we should not be doing this. But after the advent of the AI, agent, there are just so many different tools in terms of sales, marketing, customer service support, coding-based products, HR level products, interview automations, finance related automations, legal related automations. So every domain is having an impact with respect to this AI agents which are coming out. Some of the risks which are there with this AI agents, if we have to talk, so there is a bias-based risk. Bias basically means the models are trained on the human created data. Okay, they are all created purely based on human created data, and human created data has some kind of a bias already there. So bias means this internet data is more biased toward maybe me. Okay, or second could be religion, could be political things. If you're creating a chatbot using AI, female as a female is trying to interact with your AI agent. To the AI agent, if you do not give any information that says female, this model will be biased to always consider that whoever is interacting is male. Okay, because it is trained on a large amount of human data, so it is slightly biased toward women. Still, if you don't say the given user is female, it will always make an assumption that it's a male. So that's the internal bias. So when we're building the application, we have to understand this and build the application so that the user will not have an impact. Privacy. With this AI agents, there's a lot of things we have to handle in terms of the privacy. Recently, if you guys know about it, there is a tool called as a Replit. Okay, that does automatic tool website generation. So there was one company uh, which had hosted the complete production app within the Replit, and the Replit agent by mistake deleted the whole production data. Okay, so it completely deleted the production data. So we have to build, like as I said, in the prompting, we added certain rules. We said that okay, we should not do this. So we have to understand what kind of risks are there in the privacy so that we can handle it in a better way. Second is the autonomy, balancing the AI independence with the control. We need to put some good control in terms of how these models can work. These models are like small kids. You can't make them always work the way you want. Sometimes they take a control. So we have to define like how they should be controlled. Last is the accountability, determining responsibility for AI actions. Who is going to take an action for the AI's mistakes? Now, in the case of Replit, is Replit responsible? Is AI agent responsible for doing this mistake? Who is the accountable person that will take the blame when there are some issues? So those are few things which are being discussed in the industry right now, but mostly the winner is going to be the accountable person. But sometimes we have to make it very clear in terms of the rules when we're building the products out of it. Okay, just to add one more thing, let me let me show you one more agent that is still in the development, like how we can actually build some good production grade AI agent. So this is one of the course which we have for AI engineering for BFSI. So which is like a 2.5 months course. And within this is still in the development, but we have got our own AI agent which has a voice and chat based approach. Okay, this is still in the development as I say, but we can talk with it. For example, I can say you may not be able to hear my see the response. Let me see if I can sound. Okay, so who are the mentors in this course? If you see, it has come up with the mentors, so there is still audio based things which are going to be there, but it has access to all the backend data. Okay, it has access to all the backend data. So this is still a local one. It I'll refresh it. But what you see is this has a background knowledge, it has a voice. So all of this is being integrated as a AI agent. So the AI agent has understands okay when to convert it to audio, when to use the knowledge from the website and try to integrate it as part of the question answering that user does. So rather than we going through the whole website and understanding how to access this, we can even this AI agents are going to be very useful in terms of defining how this can be done. So we have this program which is coming up in AI engineering for BFSI. This is more of 2.5 month course, and we have like very limited batches for more hands-on experience. Like our goal is to get more hands-on in terms of building the AI agents, not just building, how do you deploy, what kind of challenges you face. Everyone talks about all the good things, but we also talk about what are the challenges, how do you handle those challenges, what are the RAG. So we also provide access to the free credits. We go through the MCP-based systems, A2A, MCP, LangGraph. There are different frameworks which we go and also define how do we create our own human in the loop system. The human would be integrated part of the whole program. And we also provide a capstone, and capstone will also be validated by some senior members from the BFSI companies. So that's the whole goal. If you have any interest to enroll to our course, so please reach out in the form that is shared already as part of the chat. Okay, so we will provide more details if you are interested in that. So I think with that, I'll stop. And if you have any questions, let's try to talk on the questions. Yeah, absolutely. Like CDCI, I'm assuming it's a CI/CD rather than CDCI. Yeah, is it right? Are you asking about the CI/CD? Yeah, so CI/CD, yes, we will be able to integrate it as part of the CI/CD in terms of the DevOps. There's a lot of there are two aspects. One is you're trying to automate the deployment with respect to the CI/CD. I'll give you one example. We were we have a lab settings in this, like where we will be able to provide a complete lab with respect to the Jupyters. And that lab we were trying to deploy it to the Kubernetes. And I was not fully that good with respect to the Kubernetes. And I used the cloud code to set up a full-fledged Kubernetes pipeline and do the deployment in the Azure. It was able to do step-by-step commands. It was able to identify the issues and then get me the complete deployment till it was working fine. So that's a CI/CD automation. Second is how do you deploy this application? Okay, so deploying these applications is very similar to the software-based applications. We do the Dockerization. After the Dockerization, we are able to deploy it and use it. So it works in a very similar way as compared to the software-based projects. But how do we monitor these projects? How do we track these projects? That becomes a slightly different thing as part of the DevOps. The CI/CD remains same, but how do we evaluate it? The evaluation is also not that simple. You can't say the output is supposed to be 10 and the output is 10. These models are more human response, like the textual responses. So you can't always assert with the testing saying that okay, output is supposed to be 10 and output is that won't happen. You'll have a very detailed textual output and you will have some kind of a reference text. You want to compare them and find out your model is performing good. So the evaluation in the CI/CD and monitoring, these two things differ from the normal software-based projects. Okay. Yeah, I have built the help charts actually. So completely, I've automated the help charts, and for me, it added a lot of pieces in the help charts. It ran through it. It then checked the Kubernetes logs if everything is working good. If everything is working good, fine. Otherwise, it finds out the errors. It will be able to make the further changes. This is my personal experience, and I was able to deploy good in Kubernetes with this, with limited knowledge of Kubernetes. Yes, so there is an option to deploy this locally. We can deploy the systems locally, and then we will be able to use it for local applications. Like local deployments would be mostly limited to your own personal use cases because the models that require a good outcome, a good decision making, will require a good memory, good CPU, good GPU. So then only they will be able to work. So governance guardrails. So there are a lot of different modules which we will be able to use to define the guardrails. Okay, so it will not be just a prompt engineering, but as part of the whole pipeline, we also have to add some more pieces to define the guardrails. Okay, so there are not just the prompt-based guardrails, but also on top of it, we have to add some more pieces. Okay, so this is our course page. You guys can visit it if you want to know more details about the course. So you can fill the form which is already shared, and we will be able to get to you the more details. Yeah, how the multiple agents can be used in a single pipeline. So see, multiple agents, as I discussed, in our case, one agent was the financial research agent and one was the technical. Right now, those two are working through single agent. We can separate them. As the logic become complex, we want to get a lot of financial information. Even in technical, we want to get a lot of technical information. We can separate them as two different agents, and then we can make them work together. So there are multi-agent architectures. There are different strategies to build a multi-agent architecture. So using that, there is a handoff strategy. There is supervisor strategy. There is a network strategy. So there are different strategies. So using that, we can make the multi-agent work together to accomplish a certain goal. Okay. So in terms of guardrails, there are tools like DeepEval. Uh, there is guardrails.ai. So there are multiple different tools which are available to work on the guardrails and evaluations. Elements are able to be can tell multiple agents can be used. Rewards. Okay, great guys. Thanks a lot for joining the session. How was the session? Was the session helpful to you all? Did you get to learn something new? Any feedbacks? Great, awesome guys. Great to know that. Awesome, awesome. Great guys. Thanks a lot for joining the session. Okay, take care. Have a great time. Bye guys.